Do you ever wonder why you're doing what you do in life? Do you wish that you could be really happy and passionate about what you do? Or maybe you already are and you want to expand in a different direction. Hi, I'm Barbara Ann, host of What the Why? I love what I do. A lot of that has to do with my story, my journey to this point in life. And guess what? Everybody has a story. So please join me for conversations with leaders from all walks of life about what they do, and more importantly, why they do it, how they found their core purpose, their passion, their mission in life. And if you're looking for your own, maybe you'll get some great suggestions on how you too can find your why. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of What the Why with Barbara Ann. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life. And it focuses on why they do what they do and how they figured out that this is their purpose. And today's guest is no exception. I'm super excited. Joanne was one of my first guests, an early guest back when I had my television show. So I'm really excited to have her back for the podcast because it's amazing what one person can do in just a couple of years' time frame. Those of you who don't know her or didn't see that episode, which is still available on all platforms where our show is housed, Joanne Morton is a visionary artist, speaker, performer, community connector. She inspires audiences through talks on gratitude, laughter. Laughter yoga is a thing, by the way. Laughter, affirmation art, and the power of collective creativity. The first time I interviewed Joanne, we were talking about the mobile, the gratitude mobile. I'm probably getting that wrong, but we're going to talk about that anyway. But it's immense. You're going to be super excited. And her immersive community engagement art project. Oh, the manifesting mobile. See, I just had to keep going. If I had only memorized the script. The manifesting mobile is growing to become the world's largest community engagement art project. And I still owe you my disc. We're going to have her contact information in the link that will be posted with this episode. But without further ado, a woman that I am so excited to call friend virtually, never met in person, but I've been on her podcast. She's been on my show. And so please join me in welcoming back with a round of applause, Joanne Morton. So yay! Woo! There's a round of applause. So
Oh,
welcome.
thank
And
you. I'm so glad to have yet another conversation with
I
you.
know it's amazing how things happen
Yeah,
in it's so fast, and yet it feels like it was just yesterday that we
yeah.
had this initial conversation. So for those who didn't get to see it, and for all of you who are watching, thank you very much. We ask every guest the same initial question. Don't imagine you knew that this would be what you would be doing with your life at this point. So what did little Joanne want to be when she was growing up?
Such a good question because I'm very, a lot of the work that I do is about reminding people to follow their childhood dreams because there's that childhood imagination or passion that you were playing and how did that transfer as an adult, right? And I think I always wanted to be an artist. And excuse me, an artist in the sense where um, I didn't really take a lot of art classes. There were a few, or painting classes, I would say. There were a few times when I would make crafty art stuff for my family or for um, my parents. And I remember not liking it, just feeling so judgmental about it, right? But now when I look back and I have some of those things still, I'm like, my God, that was so beautiful, right? Or so great. And so I think there was a lot of um, kind of censorship of me pursuing being creative per se. But what I did do was I imagined living a life of an artist and I would play and have imaginations. And I always wanted to live in New York City. I mean,
Wow.
I remember movies from the 60s and the 50s that I would watch with my mom of, dancers singing in New York about going to New York. And I remember, I think Sesame Street was very inspiring and inspirational for me because I was 5 when it was coming out. So I was the audience for Sesame Street. And that was in New York City. It was in New York City. And I love the films that they made. And then fast forward, in the 80s when the TV show Fame came out, living in New York, right? But I never had the discipline or a passion to master an art. Like I took a little bit of piano, I took a little singing, I took a little this, but nothing consistent. But what I did do was I had that vision of living in a creative, artistic community life. I don't know if that is the answer because I grew up in the suburbs, beautiful, big lawns, happy parents, job. But I was so culturally bored. There was nothing culturally. We went to church, we went to school, and I didn't play sports, so it's just something was missing. And that's what drove me to the life that I was living. And then once I left my parents' house and lived in cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, and San Francisco before moving to New York City, that's where my creative spark started taking hold in my 20s.
Which is awesome. And how did you get from there to, and we met through Inclusive Leaders in a Virtual World, ILVW. It's hard to believe that was like 3-4 years ago. Time is just such a, I don't know. Anyway, so how did you get from there to where you are now? One, head of FCW Society, which we definitely have to talk about because you got me to say some words I really was not comfortable owning in power.
Yeah.
2, the Manifesting Mobile, literally one of the world's largest community engagement projects ever. At some point, it will probably rival the AIDS quilt. I mean, seriously, it's that big.
I love the AIDS quilt. I don't want to compete with it,
Oh
but I
no,
want it to
not
be. Yes.
competition. I shouldn't have
No.
said rival.
Yeah.
Let's reframe that.
Yeah.
It will complement in a different way.
Yeah. It'll raise awareness.
Yeah, it will raise awareness and aspire to similar greatness and notoriety.
Yeah.
So that's how we'll reframe that. Thank you for that. And other things that you're doing. So how did you get from that dreamy, artistic young person who moved to all these different cities to where you are and what you're doing now?
This is such a good question because I'm 60. I've turned 60. And when you turn, each decade, you look back and you're like, okay. And it is very trippy and weird to age. It just is. But we are aging in a whole brand new way. So, which is great. And every decade is different, And so I look back and for some reason, I never really got being in a relationship, getting married, having children wasn't a priority in my life. Not to say that there weren't years in my life where I was like, oh, I need a date, or oh, I don't know anybody. I had all those, moments because that's what was so expected. And it's changing a little bit, but still at different parts in the 80s, women were still getting married. And what's wrong with me because I'm not in that, right?
Yeah, and I was the other way, right? So I was like indoctrinated with it and waited and waited and waited and did it, and I've been there, done it, got the dress. We're good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
kudos to you because more and more younger women are looking to women like what you did and the life you chose, and they're choosing it because
that's why I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
So people know you have a choice.
Yeah. So
continue. Have a choice. Choice it out. Yes, choice it. And it's interesting too, because my younger sister chose not to pursue a relationship. My older sister, she did get married, but she married a sociology student like herself, PhD candidate, and they were kind of like being radical, let's get married kind of thing, but but no, they gave us two nice kids, extra kids in our, like my niece and my nephew. I love them. And my parents were married, 60 plus years until my mom passed away. So that was a very traditional marriage, very traditional. And I think that's something too, I just didn't align with me. And I think I'm very grateful my parents weren't the type of parents that pressured me either. So, and of course, I don't think you can, because I'm not gonna, I don't know how there's a spark in you, and we all kind of, if you let that spark touch you, ignite you, it will guide you. And you can't be afraid of it, but it is a little scary because it's like, doing something different. But I was able to follow that and ended up going to film school. So I did go to a creative school, which I'm really great. I love film. And then once I got to New York, I kind of, I met people who were creatives in New York. And so I just had, the first 10 years of my life there, I was just getting to know myself and writing and doing this and that. And it was at the 21st century, at the turn of the century. I was living in Manhattan at a time where everything was about to change, And so after September 11th, 2001, there was a shift everywhere, And that's when I also remembered at the New Year's Eve, 1999 to 2000, that I went out
I absolutely.
you know,
I remember it
yeah.
so well. I was so excited. I bought a house that had a private pump, a well pump, and a pool with water and a fireplace. So I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens. And I was executive director of a nonprofit that lived in a city that was powered by coal and equipment that was so old, it didn't need to have an update because it didn't have electronics. So it didn't have the 2-digit number. For those who are on the younger side and may not even know, the issue with at that time was they skimped on the programming and they'd only done 2 digits. So everybody was afraid that the whole world was going to collapse when the 2 digits rolled to 00 instead of having 4 digits that could read 2000. And oh my gosh. And we were so waiting for the world.
Y2K,
Y2K,
Y2K.
Y2K. Go go watch one of my favorite movies, Office Space. Totally
Oh,
inappropriate but
yeah, that was
hilarious,
so
and you
good.
can
Oh my
learn more about
God,
it.
it was
But
so good.
back to
Yeah,
you, because
yeah,
you have done so many amazing things that others would not even consider doing out of fear,
yeah,
which
yeah. Well,
shout out to, go
how I
ahead.
answer that is am I more afraid to not do it or more afraid to do it? What's going to
Yes.
feel better? Am I going to feel better not doing it? And sometimes that is the answer, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so at some point through just changing, taking classes, kind of getting to understand myself, that's when the words magic, passion, love came. And that's where everything started shifting for me creatively, because that's when I started trusting that I can paint, trusting that I can draw, trusting that I can call myself an artist, even though I didn't go to art school. I can be whatever I want. Barbara Stanny, she's changed her name, but she wrote something about the secrets of a six-figured woman, something like that. And one of the things is I can be successful without going to school.
Mm-hmm.
I have them somewhere, but that was like, you can be a successful woman any way you want, right? And so learning that and understanding that I have this renewable, sustainable energy source inside of me that has so much power. All I have to do is let it out, allow it, feel it, live it, right? And once I did that, things started changing, and not as quickly as I thought they were going to change. It's not my time, it's divine time, right? And
Yes.
so sometimes I look at, I have done a lot of stuff. Sometimes I think, is it, you know, is it, is it enough? Is it not enough? But we know it is enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I am so grateful that those three words came to me, because I was just talking to someone this morning. There's challenges happening. There's all this stuff. How am I going to do this? What's going to happen? There's so many unknowns. But love is the reason we are here. We are here to experience human love with each other through the work that we do, through the time we spend with each other and ourselves. And we're so disconnected
Yes.
from love.
Yes, we really are. And we're getting further and further disconnected. Thank you, technology, for that. Um, Although we can also find ways to bridge it, like the conversations that you and I have and the opportunities that we've had. And
Oh,
and so let's talk about the manifesting mobile. For those who aren't familiar, what is it? How did you come up with it?
yes, I'm glad you're talking about this too, because I've been working on it since 2010 officially. And it is a hanging mobile, and it's made up of circles the size of a CD, 4 inches around. And I use recycled food boxes, cereal boxes, pizza boxes, granola boxes, that thin. And I invite people to share on both sides their positive visions for the planet, people, prosperity, and peace. And I call those circles visionary art circles. So I'm inviting you to be a visionary. What's your vision for the world, for yourself, for your community, right? And putting it on paper, like as a vision board, which a vision board is where you put words and images, right? And hanging it in a room so that people can walk through the strands of circles and see what each other have written. And it's like, oh, they want the same things I want. Oh, how about that? And what can, if they want it, I want it, then I feel more inspired to do something about it, take some action, right? And because it's all about seeing what we want to create. If we can't see what we want to create, it's not going to happen.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Now we've got some photos up, and Joanne is going to tell you what we're looking at.
Yeah, I love sharing these photos. So, and before I start talking about them, let everybody know that if anybody wants me to bring this to their hometown, their city, their business, I'm available. So, and it fits in any type of space, which is so amazing. So the first picture that I'm showing is we did this at the Juneteenth Festival in Savannah in 2024. And the Juneteenth festivals events are so amazing. And I wanted to bring it to this event because Juneteenth is all about celebrating the African American community and seeing the potential that we have when we come and support them. And as a white woman, I always want to support these communities because we need each other, right? And so I got some really great photos with the community members, the elders in the community, and everybody has such a positive experience when they walk through it, even if it's in a tent like it is here. So the next picture is from Lisle, Illinois, this year, past July. A woman I'm working with, Diana Patel, she organized a event at a bookstore in her hometown, Sparrow Stories. And so they had an event where they invited people to come and make the circles. And then throughout the weekend, it's just that row of circles hanging in the store. And, the store owner really thought that it added an extra benefit. And that's something that I'd like to be able to do, is create more interactive with businesses so that just the random person can see it and have that conversation, right? I'm super excited. There's going to be another event coming up here in Savannah at the end of September, Peace in the Park. And I did that last year too, where we came in and we made circles about peace. And of course that, I would say over 50% of the circles are about peace and love. And so that was a no-brainer, and I'm all about peace, right? And then here's another picture of the mobile at the new space that I'm opening up here in Savannah called Midtown Art House. But I hung it just so that we could see it in a room, because I can hang this anywhere. It's really lightweight and it's really easy. And then the last photo is just, these are all the different circles kind of spread out. So you can see that all different styles of people make it, and it's very colorful. And I've been doing this since 2010. I've traveled with it, and I just visualize, imagine a convention in towns across the country, around the world, where it's free to come in, and people can come and just walk and find that common belief system that we all want the same thing. We all are worthy of it,
That's one of the most amazing things. So much of what you're doing is about unity. And right now
Mhm.
we live in an environment that has specifically been designed to create disharmony and division.
Mhm.
And you are literally helping people start by finding that common ground. And so it's such an amazing and beautiful mission to have. And yet you have other things that you do on top of this too. You're a serial entrepreneur, serial artist in different formats, right? And so when you started doing laughter yoga, oh my gosh, because I didn't even know that was a thing until you started doing it. So what prompted you? I mean, I'd even heard of goat yoga before I knew about laughter yoga, and that's so much more my speed. So tell us about that.
Yeah, laughter yoga. I went to it years ago. I was visiting my friend in Atlanta, and she's like, "I'm gonna go do this thing. Come with me." I'm like, "All right." And it was laughter yoga, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love it!" Because I appreciate yoga, but I don't like yoga classes. I'm just,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
love yoga, but I like, but laughter yoga. There's not yoga poses, and in it, and so I've always liked laughter. I've always worked around people who laugh. So during the pandemic, a friend of mine reached out and said, "I want to get certified to do laughter yoga. I have a teacher. I just need another person so that she has two people to teach." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, why not?" I've always So it was super easy, and it was fun. And then I started doing, every day they do a laughter yoga call through laughteryoga.org in India at 10 o'clock Eastern time. You can get on the Zoom call with over 100 people on this call from all over the world laughing. And it aligns with my vision of finding a way for bring people together to just be in the moment and feel joy, feel peace, feel positive energy, right? And laughter, it's such a benefit for everything. And so, as a way for me to be a positive energy artist and to create these experiences, laughter is a no-brainer for me to add that, because it when you make art together, it gives you that childlike, it goes back to your inner child, right? When you
Mhm.
laugh, laughter yoga is about childlike exercises. So when you laugh, it opens up that inner person inside of you to, like, I don't have to judge myself. I don't have to be so uptight. I don't have to be so stressed. There is a solution to everything,
Mhm.
and then I mix it with gratitude, because gratitude changes everything. I've played and experimented with gratitude since the early 2000s. And when I started hosting gratitude circles where I'd share gratitude with people, that is so powerful. I did like a little lunch and learn at the Jewish Education Alliance here in June, and there were like 30 seniors saying gratitude. And then I said, "Okay, let's get up and share gratitude." And they were thinking they would just share individually at their tables, but like, no, 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 all of us together. So a big group of 30 people, and they went around and also what they're grateful for. And sometimes it was they were next to their wife or their partner, and the two facilitators, they were in tears. They've never had such an honest, real moment, you know and
Love
that's
it.
what gratitude will, if you give it. So, and that's the same thing. Laughter shows your real self. Gratitude makes you see, and then if you add positive thinking with all that, affirmations, that's how you can really start, activating your magic passion love.
You're right. I'm actually starting to tear up even as I think about it because it is, it's interesting. When we timed this interview, I had no idea that it was going to be on the third anniversary of the loss of one of the greatest loves of my life. And so the fact that this interview fell today is so amazingly powerful and meant to be, because
Yeah.
that's what she would have wanted.
Yeah.
And to be celebrated, not to be
Yeah.
mourned. And so on the heels of trying to not, me who does the work I do, right? Trying not
Right.
to live through the emotions this weekend, to have this conversation with you right now is just so amazing. And I know we're actually starting to run low on time, but one, definitely want to talk about your upcoming project that you are working on. And I want everyone to know about your podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because I am a fucking cool woman.
Yes,
I
you
am.
are.
I
Oh my
am.
God.
And I
Yes.
know I giggled every time I had to say that, because
Mhm.
that fundamentalist
Yeah,
upbringing
I
I had, that
know.
I really put behind me, still has that element in there sometimes, where I was just like, sometimes I drop it, but it's another thing to actually like get into it. But oh my gosh, the women that you talk to, and the women that I've gotten to meet in the meetings that I haven't been able to do, but
It,
I mean, these women really are some seriously fucking cool women. So
oh,
feel
yeah.
free to start with either one, and we
Yeah.
will bring it home.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, the fucking cool women. It's called fucking cool women. Women are so fucking cool, and fucking is spelled with an asterisk. So, and it's FCW Society, because we when we started this in 2005, it was I wanted to meet other women who were cool, so that you can be supported, and plus as a feminist, I want to meet other feminists, and I want to uplift each other, and I have great sisters. So this is the 2025. It's been 20 years for this society. We host brunches and this stuff. I wanted to do something a little extra, so I decided I wanted to sort of start this podcast and use it potentially for a longer and a second part to my film school, the video that I made called Women Are So Fucking Cool. And it was just a 4-minute experimental video. Um, and the basis of it is we respect each other, we encourage each other, and we celebrate each other. And that is so important. And the women I talk to, and I'm actually would love to talk to more scientists and mathematicians and
Totally
anybody.
help you with that.
I've talked to a lot of creatives, and I'm so happy. I love all my talk, but I really have been leaning. When I started this podcast in the summer, I was letting it kind of stay open about what is the messaging, what's the story, and I want to talk about listening to women, because if we listen to women when they testified against different men about different situations in our government, we wouldn't have some of these issues. And the feminist agenda, if you look at feminist leaders in countries or in business, the things they do are a little more aligned to supporting the whole instead of just supporting the one.
Mm,
And so I want to talk to, and there's so many smart women, so many
yes.
smart women. Not that I hate that I was in, not that there aren't smart men. We that doesn't matter. We want to talk, listen to women. And so I really am looking to gear that up a little bit more about who I interview. But I've been realizing I love that serial artist. That's what I have, so many projects going on that I can't not do one. Because I started FCW Society a couple years after Magic Passion Love came to me. And
Mm,
Magic Passion Love, I didn't I that was kind of my basis of how I wanted to live my life, and I wanted to surround myself with people that are actively supporting each other and taking action on their dreams, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how the FCW Society brunches and community started. And now fast forward, I've also come to realize we're here to love, right? But if you're here to love, you're here to respect, encourage, and celebrate each other.
yes,
So it's kind of the
absolutely.
same. It's all intertwined,
Yeah,
you know?
um, I do. And I'm so incredibly grateful one for you and having met you and having you on the show and having you specifically do this episode today. And we are at time, so we're gonna have you come back and talk about the other thing, which is
Yeah.
great because we can have more conversations.
Can't even
And
talk about Tom.
yeah, I mean, we talk about yes. So um
We can talk about Tom.
okay. All right. So um contact information for Joanne and your various projects is going to be listed in the links below these episodes, wherever platform you're seeing or listening to them on. But just real quickly, what is the easiest way for people who are listening to this auditorily can talk about redundance, who are listening to this can reach you?
You can always find me at my website, joannemorton.com. And I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as Joanne Morton or Positive Energy Artist.
Okay. Yes. So thank you again. Oh, and you have a link tree.
And I have
You
a
can
link
find
tree.
everything on your link
Yeah,
tree, which
yeah,
is also
yeah,
Positive Energy
yeah, yeah.
Audience. So
That'll be in the link. Yeah.
yes, and that will be in the link. So
That's
um,
everything.
all right. So again, thank you so much for coming on. And again, I can't wait to have you back and we'll talk about the other project that we mentioned in physical space and more about the fucking cool women that you interview on your podcast, myself included.
Yes.
Uh, and then to our audience, thank you so very much for tuning in. You have so many viewing choices these days and listening choices. And so we do not take for granted that you choose to invest your time with us and these amazing conversations with these amazing people who are doing their own unique and individual things to help foster a world that is so much more united. And please, whether you're looking to make changes in your life, no matter how big or small, tune in again, share with a friend, come back, go back and listen to all of the other evergreen shows that we've ever had for more illuminating and stimulating and just fun and inspirational and gratitude filled conversations with guests such as Joanne, who, and she's a star, just so we're clear. STAR stands for skilled talent alternate route. She followed that alternate route to find her purpose and to live it.